Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be reviewing this new foundation that I found from L'Oreal. It's called the Infallible 24-Hour Fresh Wear Foundation. If you're interested in hearing what I've got to say about this foundation, make sure you keep on watching and don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss my upcoming videos. Like I do on a regular basis, I was browsing Ulta's website for some new releases. I like to stay on top of affordable makeup and what's new and exciting, and when I hit the new arrivals button, this foundation actually popped up, and it's something I haven't seen anywhere in Canada yet. In the States you might already have this, maybe in Europe this already exists, maybe this was something that already existed in the past and it's just been reformulated, but it is from L'Oreal. It's called the Infallible 24-Hour Fresh Wear Foundation. I am familiar with the Infallible line from L'Oreal and I actually really do like it. The Pro Glow foundation really isn't for me. It is a little too dewy for my oily skin, so that's one I have to pass on. But the Infallible Matte Foundation is a fantastic find. I do enjoy using that on occasion and it does give you really good full coverage. I like the Infallible Makeup Setting Spray. The concealer, not so much, but you know, it's a really good line, I think, at the drugstore. The one item I really don't like from the Infallible line, and if you've been watching my channel for a while, you know what I'm gonna say. It is the Total Coverage Infallible Foundation. If you want, go out, give it a whirl. It's pretty inexpensive in comparison to some of the high-end foundations, but for now I'm just gonna stick with my old Infallible foundation. I think that one works great. I don't need this one. This is probably gonna go straight to the garbage. I have no intention of ever using it again, especially with the way it looks on my face right now. That was one of the worst foundations I have ever tried, next to the Jouer foundation. It was so bad. My skin looked like I had aged 20 years and it was just, ugh, it just looked gross. Anyways, I'm getting sidetracked, but generally speaking, the Infallible line is awesome. So when I saw this on Ulta's website, I thought, let me give this a whirl because it might be worth testing out. Behind the scenes, I have been wearing this foundation, putting it through a lot of different conditions to see how well it will perform. So this foundation review video is not going to be a wear test throughout the day, but rather me telling you what my thoughts are based on what I've experienced with this foundation for the last couple of weeks. For the price point, this is on for $14.99 on Ulta's website as of today, the day that I'm filming, and today is December the 22nd. So it's $14.99. If you convert that to Canadian dollars, it's just a little over $20. So that is on the high end for a drugstore foundation, but it is what it is. It's L'Oreal, it's part of the Infallible line. I think that whole line is actually a little more expensive than the rest of the products that they offer. The foundation does come in 30 shades. Hopefully you can see that on my phone right there. The light to medium side, I think, is the bulk of what the foundation colors are. When you look at the dark to deep skin tones, it is very limited, which is quite unfortunate considering CoverGirl has done such a great job of bringing out tons of different shades with their foundation lines as of late. So this one is a little bit disappointing, so I think that's where one of the shortcomings are. Let's talk about the claims of this foundation up front before I dive into my thoughts so you know what the marketing people are telling you about this foundation. So the description on Ulta's website says, introducing L'Oreal's breakthrough longwear foundation with breathable skin technology. The Infallible Fresh Wear 24-Hour Foundation provides medium to full buildable coverage that lasts all day and allows the skin to breathe. It is non-comedogenic and formulated with SPF, which I thought was really cool. It's got SPF 25 in it, and the foundation is suitable for all skin types. There's the general information about the foundation. In terms of the packaging, I think it's pretty cool. It is a glass bottle, which is something that I like, and of course, is got a pump. I'm always a fan of a foundation with a pump. It does have 1 fluid ounces of product in here, which is great, and there is a label on the back that gives you all the information you need to know about this particular foundation. Mine actually has an expiry date, which I really appreciate. It's something I've gotten into lately with my makeup collection. I actually just did a huge overhaul and got rid of a bunch of expired makeup that I had that I just never got around to using. So I am slowly whittling down my makeup collection, which actually is a very cathartic process, but that's another video. And I picked up mine in the shade 430, which is Ivory Buff. I think this color would actually be perfect for me when I'm a little more tanned. My tan from the summer has obviously faded away now, so I am a little bit lighter in complexion. So I think I did pick a color that is just a tad too dark with me, but I do make it work with a bit of a brighter concealer to just bring a little bit of light back into my complexion. In terms of application, I thought this foundation did blend out really easily. I had no issues. I have been applying it with a beauty blender, which is my preferred method of getting foundation onto my face. But as of late, I did purchase one of the Artiste brushes. Actually, I've picked up a few of them. I've got the palm brush, which I still need to clean before I can use it for the first time. And I picked up these 2 foundation brushes as well. Well, this isn't really a foundation brush. This could be. And this is the one that I use to apply it onto my face for the last few weeks. I've just kind of been brushing it on, which is quite odd for me because I'm not used to putting foundation on with a brush anymore. I'll insert a couple of clips here so you guys can see how it applied on the brush side, which was this side of my face. It was quite easy to blend out the liquid foundation because it is a very thin liquid. It did not get too streaky, so I was able to brush everything on. I got really good coverage on the first go around, so I didn't really feel like I needed to build up the foundation on the brush side. I thought it just worked really well on its own. But I will say using a brush does give you better coverage. And like I said, it wasn't too streaky, but I did have to go back in with my beauty blender to really buff out a couple of the streaks that I did see appear here and there. They were quite faint. I'm sure if I worked with the brush a little bit better, I probably could have gotten rid of those on my own with the brush, not the beauty blender, but whatever. You guys know I like the beauty blender more. With the beauty blender though, I think this is where I get the best coverage and it ends up looking the best on my skin. So I do have to build it up slightly with the sponge just because it does absorb some of the product. So that's something to keep in mind if you're using the sponge. But it applied nice and smoothly, as you can see in this clip here. I did get really good coverage with the first go around, but I did build it up slightly on my cheek here just to cover a little more of the acne scarring and discoloration that I have. And you guys know I've got a little bit of redness around my cheeks from mild rosacea, so that all got covered up as well. In the 2 weeks where I have been testing this foundation out, I feel like the sponge gives me the optimal results because it does absorb a little bit of the product and it doesn't end up looking really cakey on your face. I find that this side of my face where I use the brush does look a little bit cakey, like it exaggerates some of the texture on my skin a little bit more. I don't know, it's just not sitting as well as the sponge side. So if you were to ask me what the best application method of this foundation is, it's definitely using a sponge. You definitely need a primer with this foundation. I've been using the Tatcha Silk Canvas Primer and this has been incredible. It works really well with this foundation, fills in all of my pores so that this product applies really nicely. Let's talk about wear time. This foundation does claim to have 24-hour wear, which I think is ridiculous. Nobody should have makeup on their face for 24 hours, and if you do, bless your soul, because if that was me, I'd have to blow my brains out. Like, there's no way I would feel comfortable with makeup on my face for that long. But this foundation, I think in its optimal use, so this is just a regular work day with me going to the gym right after work, I can get about a solid 9 hours worth of wear with this foundation where it's still looking relatively decent. After the 9-hour mark, the foundation does start looking a little bit janky. So the minute I get to the gym, I definitely see the foundation breaking up quite a bit. I do see it sort of not pilling isn't the right word, but it really starts to exaggerate the texture of my skin because the foundation is no longer sitting in my skin. It's just sitting on top, if that makes any sense. I also find that this does not do really well with fine lines. So if you do have more mature skin or you're concerned about fine lines in your face, this is gonna sink in. So again, that's something to be aware of. It can easily be fixed with a little bit of powder, just like mushing the foundation around with your fingers if you need to. You can make it work, but that's just something I thought I would include in this review. I will pay good money for the scientist who comes up with a formula that is actually waterproof and sweatproof. Unfortunately, this one is not, and I can confidently say that because I have worn this foundation to the gym a number of times and it did not do well at all. And you know what that also means? It means it's not transfer resistant, at least in my experience. If I did one of these after a really long day, you could see the foundation on my fingers. It did not stay put 100%, which is a little bit unfortunate. I also have a habit of touching my face, and you can definitely see the transferring of foundation, especially along my jawline, which again is unfortunate, but I also know I probably shouldn't be touching my face that much throughout the day. If you don't have that issue, maybe you won't have issues with transferring, but that's another thing that I noticed. I do wear a winter jacket that does have a high collar as well, and I'll be honest with you, my collar is now completely covered in foundation, so I got to put my jacket through the wash, which is a pain in the ass itself, but for testing purposes and for providing you with the best possible review, I went ahead and put it to the test. I do like this foundation because it is lightweight. You can put it on your skin and it doesn't feel like you're wearing any makeup, so that's definitely a positive. It does remind me of the Rimmel Long Lasting Fresh Foundation. I think that's what it was called, Long Lasting Fresh Wear Foundation, something like that. It also felt the exact same, just really lightweight, comfortable. I think it does have some breathable technology in there, so I guess that's a good thing. And for anyone who is wondering, this foundation has no scent to it, thank God. I do appreciate a foundation that does have SPF in it, so that's another reason why I'm actually a big fan of this. When I travel, I think I'm going to be bringing this foundation with me just because it's going to give me a little bit of extra coverage on top of the sunscreen I usually put on my skin. But of course, with products that contain octinoxate and titanium dioxide, you are going to get potentially a little bit of flashback if you're doing flash photography. So just keep that in mind if you are planning on using this foundation for, let's say, a wedding. Overall, I think this is a good foundation. Would I be repurchasing it? Probably not. Am I going to use what I have in here? Absolutely. I'll definitely get my money's worth out of this product, but it's not something I think I'll be repurchasing just because I have other foundations that I like a lot more beyond this one. I think it is a foundation that you can certainly make work for your skin if you can find the right shade for yourself. You can pat your face throughout the day, you can blot with a beauty blender, or you can blot with blotting sheets, powder, whatever it is you use to freshen up your makeup throughout the day and really get extended wear with this particular product. I find the best wear that I could get out of this was when I used some loose powder. I actually used Patrick's powder from his matte collaboration. This is one of the old bottles, but this powder I found worked phenomenally with this product. I also enjoyed using the Infallible loose powder. I thought that also worked really well with the product as well. So definitely set this one down. I think that's what's going to make it look really great on your skin. I think if I were to give it my ranking of thumbs up, normally it's 2 thumbs up. This one is kind of like a thumb and a half. That's where I'm gonna, I guess, rank this particular foundation. It's good, but it's not great. I really hope you found this review helpful. If you did, you know exactly what to do. Go down to the thumbs up section, give this a big thumbs up, and also subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. If you want to keep up with me outside of YouTube, you can always do that by following me on all of my social media. I'll make sure to link everything for you in the box below. Thank you again so much for watching. I hope you are all having an amazing day, no matter where you are in the world. Stay beautiful, and I'll see y'all in my next video. Bye!